From domestic violence to a so-called visit with Satan, LL Cool J's life has been anything but easy. Keep watching to learn how the resilient rapper overcame his struggles to become a star. Growing up, LL Cool J was surrounded by drugs and violence. When he was 4 years old, he witnessed violence firsthand when his dad, James Nunya, shot his mom, Andrea Smith, and granddad, Eugene Griffith. Both his mother and grandfather survived the shooting. While things were rocky for the family for a while afterwards, LL said on Oprah's Next Chapter that he and his mother both forgave Nunya for the shooting. His father came back into his life and made amends. Despite the extreme circumstances of the past, the two seemed to rebuild their relationship until the end of Nunya's life in 2012. LL Cool J was exposed to more violence when his mother's new boyfriend, who LL nicknames Roscoe in his memoir, entered the picture. According to LL, Roscoe lived with them for almost 10 years. LL said the man was a drug addict who used drugs in front of him. In an interview, he told Oprah that Roscoe would make him strip his clothes off and then beat him with objects like vacuum cleaner pipes and extension cords. LL said he spent much of his childhood living in his imagination to get through the abuse, saying, "All of this is terrifying, but as soon as you walk out of that room, I'm back in my mind.
I'm back in my imaginary world where everything is great, where my dreams come true."
But his imagination could only take him so far. LL told the Chicago Tribune in 1997 that the domestic abuse turned him into the schoolyard bully who armed himself with knives and guns. LL Cool J's friend and mentor, Run DMC's Jam Master Jay, was shot and killed at a studio in Queens in 2002. To this day, there are limited details on the incident, but witnesses allege it was a drug deal gone wrong. No arrests were made in the killing for nearly 18 years, until 2 men were arrested and charged in 2020.
Investigators cracked this very cold case. That was revelation number 1.
LL reacted to the news, telling Rolling Stone, "Jay's death is one of the things that make me have thoughts that I don't want to talk about in interviews. So I'm just glad that what happened with the indictment happened now. And I'll leave it there. I'll take 18 years over no years. 18 is better than nothing." LL toured with Run DMC when he was a teenager and said the band took him under their wing, adding, "Jay was just a guy that I always had an admiration for, that I looked to as a big brother who I argued with, who I talked music with, who I butted heads with in a good way." In the early 1990s, LL Cool J was on top of the world, professionally that is. However, his personal life was in shambles. Mixed in a rotation of women was his on-again, off-again girlfriend Simone, with whom he had a child at age 19. Fatherhood spooked him, so he said he would leave and come back, a routine that went on for years, until the two married in 1995. But getting to that point took a visit from someone unexpected, Satan himself. LL told the Chicago Tribune, "He came to me, wanting me to sell my soul. I couldn't see him, but he held me down and told me, 'You can be whatever you want to be, but you have to say yes.' I said no. And after that, my life went down. Everything around me was just crumbling. But then it just started looking brighter again. I just kept the faith and believed in God." LL said he slept with the Bible after the visit. Things got better, as his 2000 album GOAT, Greatest of All Time, hit the #1 spot on Billboard's charts. Years after LL Cool J and his dad reconciled, James Nunya became his son's manager. The rapper said things in his career seemed great for a while, but then came to the conclusion that his dad was not managing his money properly. In the book LL Cool J, LL said, "He wasn't making sure my taxes got paid. He was ringing up personal stuff on corporate credit cards, and he wasn't looking out for my money, and others were stealing from me." Unaware of his brewing money troubles, he told the Chicago Tribune that he bought 12 cars, over 2,000 hats, and a lot of jewelry. But it wasn't long until Nunya's mismanagement resulted in his son owing $2 million to the IRS. He told the Chicago Tribune, "Putting my destiny in other people's hands isn't smart." On top of the financial burdens, LL felt that his dad was not looking out for his budding movie career, believing that Nunya was not passing along scripts for him to read. LL fired his dad as his manager, but said that experience shaped how he'd do business in the future. He said of the experience, "Today, I'm aware of every role, every offer, every deal, and every dime that comes in through my camp. I'm involved with every decision." Unfortunately for LL Cool J, betrayal did not end once his father left the picture. His experience with his dad made LL take a closer look at the people around him, including his friend and co-manager, Brian Latour. According to the book LL Cool J, LL felt that Latour was focusing too much of his attention on managing fellow rapper Nas. But the real breaking point was when LL told Latour to give a man money to lessen the pain of dying with AIDS. It wasn't until after the man's death that LL realized Latour never followed instructions. LL said in the book, "I had been badly burned. My best friend, my son's godfather, and my manager had betrayed me. There are no words to describe how disgusted I was, and still am." LL eventually parted ways with Latour and reportedly went to the bank to freeze his account to stop his father taking advantage of him for good. This might have been the last time LL was taken advantage of by members of his team, but would not be the last hardship of his career. On an episode of PBS's Finding Your Roots, LL Cool J learned that his mother was adopted, meaning the grandparents who raised him were not his blood relatives. After reviewing his mother's birth certificate on the show, experts found that her birth parents were not listed on the document. Still, the experts on the show were able to identify them using the New York City Birth Index. They found Smith was born with the name Andra Jolly. While this came as a surprise to LL, he said it didn't change how he viewed the family that raised him, saying, "I can understand why they didn't tell her. They didn't want her to feel like she didn't belong. They didn't want us to feel like we didn't belong. I have more love and respect for them than I ever did. Ever."
I love you. I appreciate you. And, checks in the mail.
LL and Smith also met more biological relatives they didn't know they had on the show, including aunts and cousins.
I follow the NCIS religiously. You're on Monday at 10.
LL Cool J and Simone Smith married in 1995, and life was good until 2004, when Simone was diagnosed with chondrosarcoma, a rare bone cancer. She underwent surgery, which lasted 15 hours. She told Entertainment Tonight that LL supported her during that time, saying, "I remember sitting in the doctor's office, and he wanted to give his fibula bone because he felt that his fibula bone would be bigger and stronger. He also wanted his wife to be surrounded by good vibes only after the surgery," she said, adding, "Todd would tell them, 'You can't go in there crying because you need positive energy.'" She added that her 2.5-year recovery process meant she had to learn to walk again, saying, "I went from a wheelchair to 2 crutches to 1 crutch to a cane." A tattoo of a lollipop on Simone's leg was disfigured due to a skin graft, so when she launched her jewelry line, Simone I. Smith, she designed a lollipop necklace that she and LL wear around their necks.
It's called Sweet Touch of Hope.
LL told Oprah that a portion of the proceeds from the necklace go to the American Cancer Society. In the most recent LL Cool J hiccup, the star was scheduled to perform at Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest 2022, but tested positive for COVID-19 before the event. He said in a statement to People, "I know it's disappointing to the millions of fans, but my test came back positive for COVID, which means I'll no longer be able to perform as scheduled at New Year's Rockin' Eve. We were ready, and I was really looking forward to ringing in 2022 in my hometown in a special way. But for now, I wish everyone a healthy and happy New Year. The best is yet to come." Times Square was already going to look different for the TV special due to the rising number of COVID cases across the country. Only 15,000 people were allowed in the streets for the event, compared to the usual 58,000 capacity. Have Mercy singer Chloe also canceled her scheduled performance in the Big Apple. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite celebrities are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.